Good morning. So I'm going to call this meeting to order at 9:32. March 19, 2026, the MPO Governing Board meeting. Staff, please call the roll so that we can establish a quorum.
At this time, I'm only asking those board members attending in person to respond with here when I call your name. Alternates, please state your name if you're representing an MPO board representative. As a reminder, please press your microphone button once to turn on and off. Steve Wilson,
Joaquin Almazan, alternate.
Yvette Drucker,
Here.
Fran Nacklis.
Here.
Amy Kelly,
Here.
Tom Marquette, Susie Diaz,
Here.
Jim Koretsky,
Here.
Christopher McVoy, Bev Smith,
Here.
DeAndre Poole,
Here.
Greg Wise,
Here.
Marcy Woodward,
Here.
Sarah Baxter is excused, Joel Flores, Bruce Guyton, Jeff Hamara,
Here.
Michael Napoleon,
Here.
Christy Fox,
Here.
Joseph Peduzzi, Bobby Powell, Chelsea Reed.
Dana Middleton.
Thank you. We have a quorum.
Thank you. No participants remote, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Okay, here we go. So if we can all stand up and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. Staff, are there any modifications to the agenda?
No, Madam Chair.
Are there any public comments?
No, Madam Chair.
So we have, this month is Florida Bicycle Month, and we have a proclamation. I'm going to go ahead and read this. Declaring March 2026 as Florida Bicycle Month. Whereas the Florida Bicycle Association recognizes March as Florida Bicycle Month, and the Palm Beach Metropolitan Planning Organization, MPO, will recognize it locally, and whereas the Palm Beach MPO collaborates with the Florida Department of Transportation, FDOT, Palm Beach County, PalmTran, Tri-Rail, Brightline, its municipalities, and other stakeholders to encourage bicycling as an alternative form of transportation. And whereas the Palm Beach MPO has set a target of 0 bicycle-related fatalities and serious injuries. And whereas bicycling is a popular form of recreation and transportation, which increases access to employment through affordable economic means, reduces traffic congestion, promotes health and wellness, enhances economies, and connects communities. And whereas the Palm Beach Metropolitan Planning Organization plans, supports, and recommends projects that improve bicycle access and safety, and promotes community education efforts to enhance safe bicycling practices. And whereas electric bicycles are an increasingly popular mode of transportation, Palm Beach County encourages all road users to share the roadway responsibly and encourage organizations to promote safety through education and training. And whereas Palm Beach County has an expanding network of designated and enhanced bicycle facilities totaling approximately 300 miles, and several local municipalities have adopted complete streets policies advancing a safe, connected, and accessible transportation system for bicyclists of all ages, abilities, and backgrounds. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the governing board of the Palm Beach Metropolitan Planning Organization, assembled in a regular session this 19th day of March 2026, that March 2026 in Palm Beach County is hereby proclaimed Florida Bicycle Month. Be it further proclaimed by the governing board of the Palm Beach Metropolitan Planning Organization that this proclamation is duly sealed, ribboned, and executed by the chair and vice chair of this board. Valerie Nielsen, MPO Executive Director, and Council Member Yvette Drucker, MPO Chair. And now if you can all rise to take a picture with the proclamation. Thank you.
There's a lot of words.
A lot of words for this morning.
I know. We're gonna try and fit between these slides. That's not too complicated.
Oh, really? Okay.
Come closer. And then you're the photographer. On this side, it's a little bit more.
I've always, I've never been, never.
Those of us who are in the back.
Okay. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Take one on the phone. Thank you. Oh, the one without, we have our group pictures. Oh, like a little. All right.
And I skip to the general public.
One quick thing. I just wanted to note that we have reached our goal of 30 proclamations this year. So I really want to thank everyone who's committed. We're still waiting on receiving ones because some are still going to happen, but I wanted to thank all of our board members, our staff who followed up and worked with our board to encourage, and everyone who's helped to really raise awareness and celebrate Florida Bike Month. Last year we got 22, so this is great that we are at 30. So that was our goal, and we're really happy that we got there. So thank you guys so much.
Yes, thank you for everyone that participated. So next, we're going to go on to comments from the chair, me, and any member comments. Does anybody have any member comments that they would like to share? Mr. Mayor Hamara.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have I have a request and a suggestion. First, in the request area. So I'm the vice chair of the MCFIC. Anybody know what the MCFIC is? Yeah. Actually, just take the last two letters. It's the executive committee overseeing the issues forum, and the IPARC, which is the technical committee that's currently involved in the development of the countywide transportation master plan. And as such, I decided to get a little more close-up view of what's going on. And the contractor, WSP, about a week ago, this past Wednesday, had its second or third technical committee workshop. And so I sat in, participated with Valerie and Brian and several others. And we got a good feel for where we are and came up with some recommendations that we've shared with the county staff that we think will help get a baseline in place, which we think is extremely important to know where we are before any recommendations come about as to where we ought to go. And so we provided that information, and I'm hopeful that it will actually be an improvement on what we currently have as far as the baselining effort is concerned. But you can't baseline something you don't know. So the key to it is to make sure, one of the keys is to make sure that each one of the municipalities in particular have submitted all of their relevant land use plans and all of their relevant transportation plans, whether it be a mobility plan or something else. So if you all would kind of check to make sure that all of those plans have been submitted, that will make sure the contractor has the right material to work with. And that's my request. And then the recommendation. Florida DOT held a public meeting at beautiful downtown Royal Palm Beach. And we had pretty good turnout. And the subject was State Road 7 extension, one of our favorite topics. And I think the best part of that was not only was it an update, did that help, but also there was a video shown which was about an 8-minute video that FDOT put together. And I've got to tell you, that's the best, most comprehensive and best representation of the history of State Road 7, the accommodations that have made to address the concerns that have been expressed by various communities. And so I would recommend that you all probably can find it on the website, FDOT website, but perhaps we might want to bring it here and let the MPO board take a look at it. So that's my recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Hamara. I'll turn over here to Mayor Koretsky.
Yeah, good morning. I just want to say a few words about government revenues. I am now beginning my 26th year as an elected official, and I've never seen anything like what we're all experiencing with regard to uncertainty about revenues. It's just incredible. The state, it just flabbergasts me. But as all of us in our respective roles reflect upon revenues, and I want to touch base really from an MPO perspective, but like last month, we learned from Vice Mayor Woodward that while Tri-Rail funding was restored, they didn't do it retroactive. So I don't know how you ever make up the loss of, the reserves, if you will, that were lost. So going forth, I would hope that somehow we get legislators that are more sensitive to those kind of impacts. And then, lastly, some years ago, not too many, when we were looking at long-term funding for MPO and the knowledge that gasoline taxes were, declining over time. And then, of course, as more and more electric vehicles come into use. And I just want to share on a personal note, I'm blessed that my 3 daughters live in Jupiter. So they're taxpayers and revenue sources. And my oldest daughter and her husband just purchased in last month electric vehicles. And so we've been kidding about this, but I appreciate as an elected official for the town that while they no longer pay gasoline taxes, they do buy more electric, and we get franchise fees and utility taxes. And I say that kind of jokingly, but also seriously, because a few years ago I was suggesting that you would think over the time, if in fact that winds up transitioning, in fairness, the loss of gasoline taxes results in an increase in utility taxes and franchise fees collections, which is a tax that FPO collects, that, maybe some of that needs to be, prorated towards, to roads and stuff, more to roads and whatever. So I just suggest that from awareness, if nobody was ever thought about that before. But so there's a good thing for us right now in these difficult times that as a local government, we'll see them going up. But it is continuing erosion of what happens in, transportation funding. That was it.
Thank you, Mayor Koretsky. Deputy Mayor Nachlas.
Thank you. So I just wanted to say thank you to everyone. This is my last meeting and it makes me sad, but I have loved serving with all of you. And I just want to thank the MPO staff and Valerie and Chair Drucker and all of you. You do such great work. Please keep it up. Be watching all of you, and I'm very proud to have served with all of you. So thank you.
McVoy.
Good morning. Just 2 comments. One, a little bit related to Mayor Koretsky's comment of, I noticed that in the current situation where oil and gasoline eventually prices are fluid, let's say, it was pointed out that China is somewhat insulated from those problems because they have heavily gone toward electric vehicles and they have simultaneously moved strongly to diversifying their energy sources, especially renewables. And so they are in a more robust situation than we are in some senses. So let's keep our focus on electric vehicles as best we can. And in somewhat that direction, a different comment is just a reminder. I think I've mentioned it before, but we are very, as has been wisely pointed out by the MPO, in Palm Beach County, we don't really have a lot of room to expand roadways. We know that it is pretty likely that population will increase. People need to get around. That means we need to be very multimodal oriented. And in that direction, I just encourage us all to keep our focus empirical with alternate forms of transportation, especially bicycles, scooters, electric versions of those. The key piece that we should be empirical about is assessing periodically how safe do people feel to use those alternate modes of transportation, and are we moving the needle on that perception, and both perception and reality. We want people to actually be safer, but for people to use other forms of transportation, the big hurdle is not cost, it's not those things, it's do I feel safe on the roads to do that? And it's a very valid concern. And so part of our job as transportation, I think, is to do whatever we can to move that needle on perceived safety. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Woodward.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to let everyone know for the SFRTA update for Tri-Rail. We did appoint Diane Hernandez as the interim executive director. She's been with Tri-Rail over 20 years. I'm not sure the exact number. I can't remember, but been with us a long time. And met with her yesterday. She's very excited to, take on this role temporarily as we move through this. We are hiring a firm to do a search. This is a bit of a niche market to find someone to replace Dave Deck. It's going to be big shoes to fill. He's now in Indiana. And I hope he's very cold right now and is thinking about us and what he left behind. But just wanted to let everyone know the board is moving forward. We're hiring a firm to do the search, national search, and Diane's at the helm, and we're good for right now. Again, funding, as we all know, Tallahassee, we're going to have a few more months to figure out exactly what happens from that. But as far as I know, we're still in pretty good standing. But again, it's not done until it's done. And fiscal year for Tri-Rail is July 1st. Most of us have a little extra time, but so whenever this budget gets signed, it'll be a very quick turnaround. And then we'll know. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you for the update. Commissioner Flores.
Good morning, everyone. Basically, I just wanted to bring up e-bike safety. I know that the state is taking a crack at this. I think it's pending the governor's signature, some legislature that probably going to be passed. But I wanted to know from this body is anyone, any municipalities looking at additional language, or are they actually looking at some legislature or ordinance within your towns? And the reason I bring this up is because at I think it was our last county meeting, I requested our staff to take a look at this. What I've seen from my district is that most of the individuals using the e-bike are children. And I live near a middle school, and there are a lot of kids using the e-bikes, which, by the way, are going faster than my vehicle is going, which then scares me because these kids are going over 30, 35 miles an hour. And they could have an accident. They're not required to have a license. So I guess I'm just getting a sense from you guys, if you want to talk to me after, see what you guys are specifically eyeing. Would love to chat with you, or if you want to comment here, that's also good. But would love to hear from municipalities, see what you guys are doing. Thank you.
I can tell you from the city of Boca Raton, we had a robust discussion on e-bike safety a few meetings ago during our workshop, and our Public Works Department, which has transportation underneath their helm, they're looking at certain statistics and data, and they're going to come back to us and present, and we're waiting for the federal I mean, for the Florida legislation. There also talk about federal legislation, which I'll discuss in a minute. And then also the task force is going to be created. So I think a lot of that is going to have to come in conjunction. If anybody else wants to comment, Commissioner McVoy?
Yes, I think there is a lot of movement to do regulations. There is certainly valid concerns about safety. I'll make the same comment that I made to my commission is as we move into trying to regulate, let's make sure that we're also getting people, hearing from people who actually use the electric vehicles, electric bicycles, because our bigger picture is we want both safety and we want more multimodal transportation. So we want people using them, but we want, obviously kids, high priority that their safety, helmets, whatnot. But let's be careful in our regulating that we don't kill the golden goose, that we don't, push people off of using them when they're using them safely and so on.
Any other member comments? So I'm going to go ahead and share some of my own comments. First, I want to congratulate all the electeds on this board that have been reelected, and some of you will get reappointed to this committee, and I look forward to working with you throughout this year. I also want to take an opportunity to thank my deputy mayor and colleague and friend for serving the last 3 years and for advancing mobility and safety in our city and throughout our county. It's been an honor to serve with you. And I know that you'll be back. So I just got back from Washington, D.C. I have the honor to serve on the National League of Cities Transportation, Infrastructure, and Services Committee, which is all things transit. So for the last week, I've been there, I got there Saturday. I've been meeting with everyone from FAA to rail safety to MPOs to anything and everything, lobbyists, federal lobbyists, U.S. senators, congressmen and women, all related to things that I love, transit. So some of the things that we're focusing on that's important for this body, because we're a federal funded body, is the NLC is really advocating for 4 top priorities. And I'll go in order and then I'll give a little bit more detail. So they're really having us support housing for the 21st century. We understand that housing and transit come hand in hand. The Basics Act, which is a reauthorization of the bipartisan bill, which funds all the infrastructure throughout the country, and that has to be done before September 30th of this year. Streamlining how cities and counties and states apply for federal grants. So lots of conversations around that. And then FEMA disaster relief and mitigation, because again, it's the roads usually that we need to clear up when we're in time of disaster. There's a lot of conversations also about autonomous vehicles. There's some federal legislation right now that they're discussing on autonomous vehicles and putting measures from a federal standpoint, and also on drone activity and on vertiports or vertitrol, so those small airplanes. So a lot of discussion on airspace, and we had an incredible meeting with FAA and the U.S. Senator around our own airports here in Florida, not only in Palm Beach County, but throughout. We also discussed the Surface Transportation Block Grant. That's important because that's how they fund Safe Streets for All, the BUILD and the SMART grants. So a lot of advocacy from the cities and trying to get that redone. And also making sure that they understand that we want local jurisdiction over our local projects and how we apply the funds. It's very, very important to understand that. And I want to give a shout out to Amy Kelly, Commissioner Kelly, that was with me at NLC and attended some of these transportation initiatives. And the real takeaway from the entire week that we were there, we just got back last night, was bridge, safety, and local projects. And those are the words that we were saying. And for this body, as we apply for any grants or for any of you that are applying for grants within your cities, the real big focus from the administration is public safety. So make sure that you're including public safety. If you have bridges, and how important it is to local projects and local constituents. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to our executive director for the executive director report.
Thank you, Chair. I wanted to, before I get into the executive director's report, I just wanted to thank our board members, Chair Drucker, Deputy Mayor Naklis and Commissioner Poole, who attended the Safe Road Summit that was in Broward, the annual regional event that's hosted by the 3 MPOs. And also congratulate Deputy Mayor Naklis for winning the Safe Roads Champion Award for Palm Beach County, and the City of Boca Raton for receiving the Community Award. So congratulations. Thank you for all your efforts, and thank you again for serving on our board. Your time here has been impactful and really has moved things in a positive direction. So I also wanted to, again, it's Florida Bike Month. We have more information on our website. Thank you again to everyone who's been helping to promote, to celebrate, to do proclamations. And I know Commissioner Flores stepped out for a second, but we are working on really to move the needle. It takes the 5 E's of engineering, which is something we can help prioritize funds for, the actual engineering of the roads, but it's also education, it's evaluation, it's encouragement, it's enforcement. And so all of those tactics work together to try to move things forward. And we are working on a toolkit that we'll share with the board when ready. But I'll just mention, it's not something we can control, but education in the schools at the mass level really does make an impact. Miami-Dade County School District years ago mandated the Walk Safe and Bike Safe educational curriculum in their schools, and they have evidence-based curriculums, and those had a drastic decrease in the number of children being admitted to trauma hospitals. So if you have any relationships with your schools or school district, there are a lot of free resources that are not super time consuming, but it does make an impact because you're able to educate kids at a younger age, and they can educate their parents, and it carries on. Speaking of safe routes to school, we are hosting a workshop. We're working on a safe routes to school action plan, working with our schools and looking at locations. We'll be doing a workshop here if you're interested in attending on April 3rd, or encouraging your staff to attend. And we're also going to be doing walk audits around 5 schools, so the last week of this month. So I'll be reaching out to some of you if they're in your district, kind of looking with your school district, with the different city staff, county staff, looking at what can we do to improve access and accessibility for kids walking, biking to school. So I hope you will join us, or your staff, for that. Also, just a reminder, the Tomorrow City, which used to be called the Smart Cities Conference, is happening next month, April 14th to 15th, at the Palm Beach County Convention Center. This will be bringing together leaders from all over the state and all over the nation to discuss urban innovation and mobility. Really encourage you to attend. I sent an email a while ago. There was a code that I was able to share with the board for complimentary registration. That's expired, but if you still want to attend and you weren't able to, please let me know and I can reach out to the event organizers. Also, our last mobile tour for this fiscal year is going to be in Boca Raton. They're going to be hosting us for a transit-oriented development mobile tour with Chair Drucker welcoming everyone. So if you're able to join us on April 22nd, we'll be at Meisner Park. It'll be in the afternoon, and we'll be learning about their transit-oriented development efforts, also mobility efforts. We'll be able to see a pilot protected intersection, and also learn about how Meisner Park was developed to be more transit-oriented. So. Yes, and see their autonomous vehicle that they have, the Mika. So it'll be from 2 to 3:30. And the more information is at that link. Please register if you're able to join us. Also, we have a transit-oriented communities workshop. This is looking at land use policy framework on April 30th here with experts. And so we really hope that your staff, or if you're interested in this topic, will join us as well for that. For those who haven't done the MPO Institute board member training, there's an opportunity on May 1st. I know a couple of you are going. I sent an email. It's in Orlando. If you're interested and able to join, please let me know. I can send the information again. We spoke about autonomous vehicles. There's a free conference. You do have to register, but registration's free, in Boca at the Boca Raton Innovation Campus on May 29th. We encourage you all to attend, and anyone that you know may be interested to join that. And then I just wanted to mention the state of Florida, FDOT, has been selected as one of 8 states to participate in a national program for advanced air mobility integration, a pilot program supporting emergent aviation technologies. So that's interesting. We'll be tracking that and seeing how it goes. But if you want to find more information, there's a link here to learn more about that. And then we talked about e-bikes, e-bike safety. As Commissioner Flores mentioned, the legislation has passed. It's waiting on the governor's signature for approval, but that will establish a safety task force at the statewide level, as it also provide enforcement and penalties for law enforcement and require tracking of the data for the e-bikes. So that's the crashes. So that's great. And we're going to be doing a workshop on that, on covering the legislative updates, safety considerations, and available resources and tools on June 4th here. And we'll also be talking about golf carts because that came up at our last meeting on what are the best tools and practices to how to handle that. So if you're interested in that, please attend or send your staff. And then just a couple of reminders, the state is updating their long-range 2055 transportation plan. If you're interested or want to provide input, please check it out. And as Mayor Hamara mentioned, the countywide transportation master plan is underway. We were surprised to see that many of the local plans were not reflected in the maps that were shown. So I think even Mayor Hamara was surprised that some of his things weren't reflective, even though he had been told that they had been submitted. So I just want to echo his point that please do make sure your staff have submitted. Boca was well shown, but please make sure that your staff have submitted their transportation needs, desires, plans, land use, so that that is reflected in this effort. It really is an important effort, and we want all of our municipalities to participate in it. We also provided feedback to the county, to Patrick Rutter. We suggested it might be best to really layer what we already know is happening on the DOT system, on the county system, and then go vet that information with each of the cities. I know it's a time-consuming effort, but it might be a good effort of time to just have those one-on-ones with each city. And that's all I have other than get on our website under palmbeachmpo.org, participate. We have all our events, ways to get involved. If you haven't signed up for our newsletter, we look forward to your participation.
Thank you, Chair. Any questions for Chair? Commissioner Flores, Executive Director.
I just wanted to piggyback off the comments regarding the transportation master plan. Vice Mayor Woodward could also echo the sentiment, but we've asked our staff to slow down the process. I think we were trying to rush it to meet a timeline. And Commissioner Weiss is also here, who actually, by the way, it's the one that asked for this master plan to be conducted. But we've asked our staff to slow it down. We've added a second consultant to the mix. So we're looking to take our time and do it right. We're not trying to rush this. So I think this is something that is good for everyone to be involved, to make sure that all of these plans are incorporated. And when they came and presented to us at this last commission meeting, I think that's what we were looking for, actual data, and that we were using the correct data out there for zoning and planning, make sure that we're taking into account what's actually being designed by the municipalities and the county. So I would encourage everybody to continue to be involved. But I do want to also echo this is when I personally asked the consultants to actually give us, even if we don't like it, what the solution might be, tell us the dirty truth that we need to hear about how do we facilitate mobility in this county. So I know there's certain things that we might be opposed to, but we still need to hear what it is that we need, and then we can make that determination as we move forward. So that's part of what I've asked for, but I also wanted to let everybody here in this board know that we've asked our consultant to slow it down a little bit, take your time and do it right. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Flores. Any other commissioner? Any other thing to add, Ms. Nielsen? So I just want to encourage you all as we move on to attend the MPOAC Institute. If you haven't attended, I'll be up there. I believe our vice chair is also going to be attending. And obviously, I go to that meeting. And also, that's not on the report, but NATCO is coming, which is the big, what I call the Super Bowl of Transportation Engineering Conference. And this year, it's going to be in Minneapolis. And Commissioner Kelly and I just heard from the actual chief of police of Minneapolis in this conference this week that we were at, and everything's safe. I've heard people say they don't want to attend because of safety issues, but we just heard from the actual man that has been there throughout all the immigration issues that transpired there, why they picked Minneapolis. Obviously, that's picked a year in advance. They are the bicycle capital of the USA. So I'm really excited to go. And if anyone's interested, please reach out to Ms. Nielsen right now. I'll be attending with 2 of our staff members, but it would be great to have one more person. I would love to have one more person from this body attend. It's an incredible opportunity. Also, if your cities can send anyone, also an incredible opportunity. It's not a conference where you sit all day and you're spoken to. It's a boots on the ground. You are out and about in the cities, understanding the infrastructure, understanding how they've improved and why they are the bicycle capital of the US. So anyways, if I could plug those 2 things, and hope to see you guys there. And of course, on April 22nd, in my city of Boca Raton, with our TOD updates. All right, so I will go ahead and move on. Would any member like to remove any item from the consent agenda? Hearing none, I need a motion to approve the consent, and please state your name for the motion.
Second.
Woodward first, Weiss second. Yep. That's what I heard. All in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Next, we're going to go to motion to adopt fiscal year F1 2027-2028, the Unified Planning Work Plan program, that we discussed last week. And I'm going to invite Andrew Euler, Deputy Director of Programs, to present this item. Andrew?
Thank you. Good morning, Madam Chair and board members. So this is our only action item today, really the largest item on our agenda. This was seen last month by our committees and the governing board as an informational item. And now we're here today to adopt this and send it to the Federal Highway Administration and DOT. So this is our upcoming 2-year work program for fiscal years 27 through 28. And we're going to start operating under this come July 1st of this fiscal year. This is one of the 4 core documents we have that we're federally required to have as a metropolitan planning organization. So each metropolitan planning organization throughout the country has these 4 core documents. It's the UPWP, it's the public participation plan, which oversees how we do our public engagement and the ability to review products for the public. There's the long range transportation plan, which is our 25-year planning vision. And then there's the transportation improvement program, which we see most often by this board, which is our 5-year funding of federal and state.
Mr. Euler, can you
Yes.
please hold on one second? Yes, Commissioner Weiss.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Were there any changes or updates from when we saw this last month?
No, there were no changes.
Then I'm comfortable making a motion to approve it.
Okay, so before we do that, does anyone from the body have any questions related to the Unified Planning Work Program? Are there? Okay. Okay, just making sure nobody has any comments. There's a motion on the table by Commissioner Wise. There's a second by Commissioner Flores. And there's a question, so we'll hold that. Commissioner McBoy.
Just a question, clarification. I can't remember from last month. Is the extension of State Road 7 part of this?
No, the extensive State Road 7 is in our transportation improvement program.
I also have to ask, are there any comments, public comments on this item?
No, Madam Chair.
Thank you. All right, so if we're not seeing any public comments, there's no comments from the governing board. We have a motion on the table from Commissioner Weiss, second by Commissioner Flores, to adopt fiscal year FY 2027-2028 Unified Planning Work Program, the UPWP. Guess, are we taking is it just a motion? Okay.
No roll call.
No roll call?
Yep.
Thank you. So all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye. Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. All right, so moving right along. So now we're going up to the time in our meeting where we have partner updates. Are there any partner agencies that wish to provide an update this morning? Staff, is there any public comments?
No, Madam Chair.
Do any board members have any comments on partner agencies? All right, so administrative items are provided as information only to the board. There are no staff presentations of these items unless requested by a board member. Staff, do we have any public comments on this item?
No, Madam Chair.
Any board member have any additional information regarding administrative items or any other items? All right, so if not, our next meeting will be May 21st of 2026. And with that, we will go ahead and adjourn this meeting at 10:11. Thank you.